Hi, welcome and welcome back to my channel. I'm Floriesha, and today I'm going to talk about my experience living in one of Yonsei's university's dormitory, woojungwon. For those who don't know, I studied abroad in South Korea 2 years ago, attending Yonsei University as an exchange/international student. In a previous video, I talked briefly about my experience living in woojungwon. I also wrote a blog post on my study abroad program site explaining the pros and cons of living in woojungwon versus SK Global House. But in today's video, I'm solely going to focus on my experience living in woojungwon. My experience may not be the universal experience. Some people may have loved it, some people may have hated it, some people feel indifferent. All I can say is that I'm speaking from my experience. Now let's get into the video. For those who don't know, I studied abroad with the study abroad program CIEE, and they basically gave my cohort to choose between SK Global House or woojungwon. And so I'm just going to share the selling points that they shared to me that I thought was very convincing. They shared that woojungwon was quiet, it's typically cleaner than SK Global House, and that we will be living with domestic students, and there's a fridge in the room. For me personally, my space of rest needs to be quiet. When I go back to my dorm, it's usually because I want to take a nap, or I want to rest, or I want to be in my own energy, or I want to study, or I just need a space that isn't surrounded or occupied by other people all the time. I forgot to mention, I'm a light sleeper, so if I hear anything while I'm sleeping, it's a wrap. I'm jumping up. I'm like, what was that? Like, I cannot have any loud sounds when I'm sleeping. And then personally, I love to have a fridge in my room. Sometimes I like to bring back leftovers, or I like to buy snacks or fruits. Just so you know, SK Global House doesn't have fridges in their rooms. And I was super excited about the opportunity of being able to live with domestic students versus living with international students, because one of my main goals was to build relationships with domestic students, with native Koreans. That was very important to me. And so I was like, okay, woojungwon provides me the proximity and the opportunity to build connections with Korean students. And I was like, I'm gonna be able to build relationships with international and exchange students anyways, because all of my courses are with international students. It gave me a good balance. I had proximity to domestic students and I had proximity to international students. So if you're someone who values peace and a quiet environment, this dormitory may be for you. In my opinion, to get to the main campus of Yonsei University, I'm giving a lot of attitude right now because this is personal. It took me 15 to 20 minutes to get to main campus. Listen, I may not be the fastest walker, but I do consider myself to be, because I be when it's time to get to class. So the fact that it took me 15 to 20 minutes, in my opinion, is a little bit long. And when I was on my way to class, I was passing the domestic students. They were taking their sweet time. I'm over here like, I can't play about being late. But the shuttle ride from woojungwon to main campus is maybe about 5 to 10 minutes. And I'll talk a little bit more about the shuttle experience and what that's like later on in the video. But the most significant part of woojungwon's location is that it's on one of the steepest hill I've ever walked on my entire life. And I'm not being dramatic, maybe I am. Actually, this is my experience. It's on the steepest hill I've ever walked in my entire life. And then you have two neighboring dorms from what I know, Muwak and the athletes dorm. And Muwak is even on a steeper hill than woojungwon. Like, it gets worse. woojungwon is on a level of like upper mediate difficulty, but Muwak is like double homicide, you know? Like, it's really bad for those folks who live in Muwak. So salute to those students, because it could never be me. Guys, to be honest, I genuinely hated that hill. I hated seeing it. I hated walking it. I hated even thinking about it when I had to go back to woojungwon. Like, that was the thing that ruined my experience living in woojungwon. And you may be like, oh, the hill's not that bad, la 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 la. In a previous vlog, I talked about how I got locked out on my first night of clubbing with Yonsei University students from the Mentors Club because of the curfew that's at woojungwon, but also because of the hill. In the video, I go in the Naver app and I basically walk y'all through what it's like to walk up that hill. So if you want to check that video out, definitely go check it out. I'll put it right here. The hill is no joke. I don't care, okay? By the end of my semester, my calves were looking stinking good. I guess that was what I gained out of, you know, hardship of walking up that hill. There's also a Chinese international school nearby woojungwon, and sometimes when I'll be sleeping or maybe like even waking up, I can hear the announcements from the speakerphone. It wasn't anything like disturbing. I didn't wake up in anger or whatever. I was just like, oh, like there's a school nearby and they're having announcements, like cool. Didn't really bother me at all, but just something to know. Like I mentioned before, it has a quiet environment. That was really big for me. So on the first day that I arrived in Korea and I entered my woojungwon dorm, as soon as my feet touched the floors, I was like, wait, like it's warm. And I was like, no way do I have heated floors in my dorm. I was so excited because in America that doesn't exist. So I was like, oh my God, I have heated floors. I would describe woojungwon to be a place that's not really congested, busy, loud, and there's not a lot going on inside the dormitory. I feel like in comparison to SK Global House. SK Global House was always busy, but there was just always groups of people walking in and out. It's busy. Whereas woojungwon, it's very quiet, low-key. Maybe for the introverts, I think just my speed, because I consider myself to be an introvert. And even my mbti starts with an I. So I feel like maybe for the eyes, if you're an I, woojungwon may be for you. So if you're someone who values a peaceful space to recharge, this dorm may be for you. But yeah, guys, that was the only thing I really liked about woojungwon, that it was quiet. Like, I can't think of anything else. So the first thing that I have beef with is the curfew. When I was there, the curfew was from 2 a.m. to 5 p.m. And you may be thinking, oh, that's not that bad. No, it is bad. It's my first night out in Hongdae. I'm in Korea, okay? So on the first night, I decided to go clubbing. I was, looking cute, having fun with my other international friends. I felt like I was on a timer. I felt like I was Cinderella and I had to get home by 2 a.m. and I wasn't really able to enjoy myself. And so I got locked out. There's two ways to get to woojungwon. The first way is by walking on foot from main campus, or even walking by foot from the other entrance, which is through the north gate. But you can walk up from the north gate to woojungwon, or you can call a taxi or get a ride and have them drive you up. But the thing is, the north gate shuts or closes maybe around 10 p.m. or midnight, because every time I tried coming home past midnight, the gate was never open. And so because the gate isn't open, any car driver isn't able to go up, and so you have to walk up from North Gate all the way to woojungwon, and that walk, I kid you not, is maybe 10 minutes. I hated that curfew. I hated the curfew because of the gate. No one couldn't drive up, and the thing is that when I reached woojungwon, it was like 2:01 a.m. and I still couldn't get in. They're really strict with that curfew. And I almost missed my flight to Jeju because I also didn't realize that you can't go in or out. If I knew that I wanted to enjoy myself in the night out, especially in Seoul nightlife at Hongdae or in Itaewon or Gangnam, I knew that I wasn't going to get back by 2 a.m. So I had to stay out to 5 a.m., which is not an issue because when you're in Korea, you kind of party till the sun comes up, it is what it is. Or I just slept over a friend's house, which I did most of the time. There's also a lack of food options near woojungwon in comparison to SK Global House. In my opinion, I feel like it takes about 10 to 15 minutes to walk to anything near woojungwon. There's no nearby convenience store that takes less than 5 minutes to get to, or a bakery or a restaurant. There were places that I went to a couple of times, like there was a boba shop that I went to a bakery called Alleglu, I believe that's how you pronounce it, and there is a 7-Eleven that's nearby woojungwon, but it's a 10-minute walk to get there. There's also a Daiso, but it's way down this street, and I'll put all the places I visited near woojungwon in the description box down below, but it isn't many. SK Global House has an exquisite variety of cafes, restaurants, places to go nearby, food options. There's everything in that hub area near SK Global House. And I think it's designed that way, especially for the international / exchange / visiting students. Like, they want to make your experience easier. And I want to add that the Korean Language Institute building is literally right across SK Global House. Like, you walk out of SK and you're standing right in front of the KLI building. Very nice for international students who are taking courses there, and majority of us are taking courses at the KLI building. And then there's a convenience store, like a 5-minute walk from SK Global House, but SK Global House residents don't really have to leave the building for anything because they have a convenience store that's open 24 hours right below them, in addition to Pak Coffee and like Pak Restaurant and other things that are in the basement level of SK Global House. So in my opinion, I feel like SK Global House is closer to everything. It's closer to main campus. It's closer to classes that you'll be taking when you're abroad, because the walk isn't the same from when you're coming from woojungwon in comparison from when you're coming from SK Global House. But there is a shuttle bus stop in front of woojungwon, and that is something that I relied on heavily. People have mixed opinions about it. I think about it like being late or not running on schedule. I don't remember having any issues with the shuttle bus. The only thing was when it was prime time to go to classes and come back from classes, that's when I was like, oh, this is a little bit, let's say like it's in the morning time and people are going to classes. There is a stop that stops right in front of woojungwon, but by the time the shuttle gets to woojungwon, people from Muwak, your neighboring dormitory, have already gotten on the shuttle bus. And then the athletes plus woojungwon residents are coming to the shuttle bus stop as well. And so by the time you get onto the bus, it may be already packed AF. And it's not a good experience like when it's really packed in the bus, because you have to hold on to these handles, but it's the handles that go forward and backwards, and like you have to stabilize yourself, and it's a rocky, bumpy drive to main campus. It's not a smooth drive. It's really not. So you're fighting for your life. You're going back and forth. You're looking crazy with the domestic students too, because they look like they're struggling. We're all struggling in this bus. Let's say you've traveled and you're coming back to Yonsei campus and you want to go to woojungwon, but you want to take the shuttle bus. Anytime it's from 5 p.m. to the last shuttle bus, that's when everybody and their mamas wants to go back to that section of campus where Muwak is, the athletes dormitory is, and where woojungwon is. So when you go into Yonsei Commons and you go into the parking lot that also has a shuttle bus stop, the line is circling the parking lot or the sidewalk where all the students line up to get onto the shuttle bus, which is also like inconvenient in a way, because let's say the shuttle bus comes and you're like number 150 in line, I'm being dramatic, you're probably not gonna make it on the bus, and then you have to wait another 30 to maybe 45 minutes for the other one to come, or you try to like push yourself into the bus, which is also not a cool experience. And that's what I realized, even the domestic students don't like walking up that damn hill. It's not fun. When I went to classes, I made sure that I had time, and so it can be like a sweaty trek to classes. And personally, I don't like to be sweaty. I don't like to be huffing and puffing and tired and being like, okay, give me a second, which maybe there were times where I had to do that. It's really just the small things that either make or break an experience. If convenience and nightlife are very important to you, woojungwon may not be the best fit for you. So in woojungwon, there's 2 beds, 2 closets, 2 desks with room storage, another like cubby type of room storage or like shelves near the desk. There's also room storage underneath your bed, like stuff that you can pull out to put clothes in. And then you have a closet, each side gets a closet. And then you have bathrooms, 2 bathrooms, one that has a toilet only, and then the other that has a shower and a sink. And thankfully, the shower and the sink are separated, and I really appreciated that. And then when you come in, there's also storage space for your shoes and whatnot. There's also the mini fridge in the smack middle of the room. As I mentioned before, there's heated floors, and there's also like a key card. There's a woojungwon key card that you get that you need to put in the slot to your right. I guess when you enter the room, it might be on your right or left, but you put it in the slot, and that turns on the electricity, the outlets, the heating system. It turns on everything in the room, and you need to put your key card there in order for things to start working in the room. And that's the same key card that you use to tap in order to get inside or come inside woojungwon. There was also bedding provided. They provided me a pillow, a pillowcase, a fitted sheet, and a blanket. My roommate was smart. She brought her own like sheets and like pillowcase. I didn't, but you can also buy these things at Daiso if you don't want to use what woojungwon provides, but it's, I guess, a good thing. So you don't have to pack something extra. You can use what they have at the beginning or at the start and then buy your own. So there's 4 floors in woojungwon, and if you see me looking at this, it's because I'm reading my notes. There's B2, which is like the entrance in the lobby that you walk into, which also has the mail room. Then there's B1. B1 has pretty much like everything. It has, I believe, 2 study rooms. One study room that's very quiet and has computers and printers, but also the desks that they have, they're kind of like have like shields on both sides, so you are not distracted by whoever's around you. It just like feels really private. And then there's another room, from what I remember, that you can like work in groups or just like do group work, and you can talk and you don't have to be as silent. And then I remember there being like a workout room. I never used that room. And then there's bathrooms, and then there's a laundry room. I don't know if the laundry room is separated by like gender. It can be. I don't remember if I saw any men or boys, but I felt like the guys had their own space and the girls did. I'm maybe like 75% sure on that. And then there's the shared kitchen / mini convenience store space. In that space, you can cook your food, you can warm up food, you can chill, you can eat there. You can also buy things from the mini convenience store that woojungwon has, but it's not that great. You can give them a C for effort. It has like ramyeon, it has snacks, it has chocolates. I believe it also has like laundry detergent. There's also frozen meals, but like it's nothing compared to the OG iconic convenience stores that is all over Korea. It's also nothing like the convenience store that's inside SK Global House as well. And then there's floor 1, floor 2, and floor 3. So in woojungwon, it's like unisex, like both sex live in the dormitory. But I believe that each floor is separated by sex. I feel like the first floor may be for girls, and the second floor may be for the boys, and maybe the third floor may be for girls again. I don't know. I know that the floor that I was on had only girls, because each floor has like a common space too. And whenever I went in that common space, there were only girls there. I never saw any guys. I only saw the guys when I went in the elevator, or if I went to B1 that had everything that we needed to use. On floor number 3, there's also an entrance to woojungwon, but it's time restrictive. You can only enter and exit between a certain time frame. I forget what that is. And I felt like that was also annoying, because on floor number 3, it allows you to kind of shorten your distance walking to woojungwon. And I never made that time restriction because it's just at an odd time. So that was also pretty annoying. For laundry though, I will say that it's not free. I use about 20,000 won every month for doing laundry twice a month. I don't know if the ways in which you pay for laundry has changed at woojungwon. Again, maybe that's something that you'll learn when you get there. I did lose my key card multiple times, and I did have an RA. He was an RA from my study abroad program, CIEE, and so I worked really closely with him, and he worked with the office to help me every time I lost my key card. I don't know why I lost my key card so many times. Do not lose your key card. It really makes your life difficult, because you can't get in woojungwon because you need your key card to get inside woojungwon. You also need to use your card to get onto your floor, and you need your card to get inside your room, and then you need your card to turn on everything inside your room. You just need your card, period. So don't lose your key card. If you do, it happens. I think that I had to pay between 30,000 won to 50,000 won every time I lost my card. It was not cheap. Don't be like me. Please don't be like me. Now I'm gonna talk about my rooming experience, because someone was asking me what it was like living with a stranger for about 5 months, and I was like, yeah, I get that. And so I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of a rundown of what it was like for me. So my experience was a 10 out of 10 experience. I absolutely adored and loved my roommate. She was an addition, like a positive addition to my time abroad in South Korea. So the people that were part of the cohort for that year, we all made like an Instagram group chat, and then we separated each other based off who was living in woojungwon and who was living in SK Global House. We had the option of choosing roommates. There were some people who went abroad with folks from their institution, but I was coming alone, and CIEE did give us the option to have like randomize our roommate, and I wasn't opposed to that. I was just thinking like why not try to find my roommate now, you know, so that I guess I can know a little bit about her before we get there, and that brought me some sort of comfort. I just wanted to try at least. And so I was just scrolling through the group chat, and I was going solely based off of vibes, and I saw her Instagram, and I was like, wait, like I think that we would like mesh well. I don't know why, but it worked out perfectly because I DM'd her and I asked her, hey, like I'm living in woojungwon, and I see that you're in the group chat. Do you have a roommate? And she said no. And I asked her if she would be interested. But before we gave each other answers, we talked about things like how clean you are in your room. Would you be inviting people back into your room? What time do you go to bed? What does your room typically look like on a weekday? We were asking each other all of these important questions, things that you need to know, that you should know to see whether you're compatible to be roommates, which will just really help your experience. And so after we had that discussion, she agreed to be my roommate, and I was so excited. We don't talk as much as we used to anymore, but I just know that like if we were to reach out to each other, she would just welcome me back with open arms. So we helped each other with cleaning the room. We helped each other with laundry. Sometimes we went half and half with laundry. Like sometimes I would buy the laundry detergent and then she would buy the laundry detergent. We would share duties of cleaning the dormitory, cleaning the bathroom, or taking out the trash. And one thing that really was important to me was respecting our bedtime. We always went to bed around the same time. And if there were times where one of us went to bed before the other, we were just like super quiet and cognizant. And I love it when people just take into consideration that one, I'm a light sleeper and I just need silence when it comes to going to bed. And so she really helped my experience. I don't regret choosing to live with someone, because if you may live in a single, you may not be able to interact or have much connection or access to people, because each person abroad is going to have their own experience. And because I was connected to my roommate, she allowed me to be part of her experience too. So she introduced me to people that I didn't know, and I introduced her to people that she didn't know. And then when there were times where we both weren't doing anything, we went out to eat or explore or study together, or we watched anime in the room together. Like, it was so fun. Clearly she left like a positive impact and impression on me, and I'm grateful for her entirely, because she definitely made my experience abroad just what it was, which was amazing and unforgettable. Here's my tip: don't underestimate how much your roommate plays a role during your time abroad. It's super important. If you can, try to get to know people or build community, especially online, before you get there. Try it. Try to be brave and try to put yourself out there to make connections with people before you get there, especially if you're not going abroad with anyone from your home institution. And the answer is no. I would not choose to live in woojungwon again. If you made it to this part of the video, you're probably not shocked by my answer. Would I go back and choose woojungwon again? Yes, I would, because I had a great experience. And the thing is that I still don't know what it's like to live in SK Global House. Yes, there's all these conveniences around it, and yes, yonsei places it in the perfect spot for international students, yes, but I don't know what it's like. I may have loved it or I may have hated it, but I don't know. But I do know that like woojungwon was perfect for me for when I went to Korea 2 years ago. But again, if I were to be a student again at yonsei, I would not decide to do it again. I would be like, oh, let me go with something else, because I've already experienced woojungwon. I'm a person who loves to try new things. That's why I chose woojungwon in the first place, because I wanted to try something different that other people weren't going to choose. Not because other people weren't going to choose it, because I was like, this seems like a very distinctive, unique experience that is different from SK Global House, and I want to try it. So overall, it was a humbling experience. I neither did hate it nor did I love it. At the end of the day, I was just grateful to be there. I was grateful to be in South Korea. I was even more grateful to be studying at one of South Korea's most prestigious institutions. So that was it for me. Like, I was like, I'm at yonsei. Okay, I may like have beef with woojungwon, but I'm at yonsei. If I was a student trying to decide between SK Global House and woojungwon, I would think about what you need in terms of what's most ideal for you to have when it comes to studying abroad in a new foreign place, and also what you need in your space of home, of rest. I really hope that this video helped with your journey or process of trying to figure out whether to choose woojungwon or SK Global House, or if you're just trying to like gather more information about woojungwon in general. If you're studying at Yonsei University or thinking about it or planning to, check out this playlist. I share my full experience of what it was like studying abroad at Yonsei. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!